Today's the day.
All right, we are at halftime. Things certainly perked up here in the late going. New England leads it 14-10. Super Bowl 38. Hello again, friends. Jim Nantz here. Welcome to the Monster Super Bowl Today Halftime Report. Joined by Dan, Deion, and Boomer. Guys, I thought after the first 26, 27 minutes, no action. We could have expanded that halftime even another hour or so, you know. But, boy, what a
one thing that was surprising to me is Antoine Smith was able to run the ball pretty good in the first half, and they were doing inside with the wham play like we talked about in the pregame show, and that was getting the defensive line of Carolina Panthers upfield. He's getting some creases. He had almost 50 yards rushing in the first half.
Dan, how about that drive put together? Mike Vrabel with a huge first half.
Well, we're looking for a turnover right here, and you get it. New England Patriots come over to Richard Seymour. Then Tom Brady makes a great run on third down to set up a play-action pass inside. Antoine Smith gets it to Deion Branch. That's a perfect play call in that situation because they were running that wham play, and they come out with play action for a touchdown.
Vrabel has 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and that forced fumble to set up the first touchdown. How about Jake Delhomme under pressure there, Boomer?
Well, we talk about it in the pregame also. It's about perseverance, and this is exactly what this guy has. He's getting beat around all the first half. I'll tell you, you can see right here, a bad, poorly thrown ball right there. He was a little off the mark. Dan Henning was very conservative early on in the game to protect this young quarterback, but I'll tell you what, Vrabel's had a whirl of a game, but here's the perseverance. A beautifully thrown ball to Steve Smith over Tyrone Poole, and Deion, my man, you said it. It was going to be the matchup to watch, and that time Tyrone lost.
This is the matchup. I'm sure he received instructions. Don't really play with long, especially in key situations. But another view of that touchdown, you're going to see, this is the first time that Delhomme has really had time to throw the ball. You can see him drop back. They pick up the blitz finally. Steve Smith runs a perfect route. Young receiver, he cuts in front of the defensive back, cut his angle off, and he's able to make the grab. If you get Steve Smith and Tyrone Poole one-on-one, more times than not, Steve Smith's going to win that matchup.
All right, guys, how about that second touchdown to Gibbons? And he's a Houston area guy from Humboldt, Texas, right up there by the airport.
Play action. The linebacker's going to come up. You're able to dump it over top for the touchdown. That's just like Stilly. I'm just glad that New England has added this play to their repertoire.
Hey, Adam Vinatieri has struggled in this building in his career, 31 out of 31 indoors, but now 0 for 4. All of his 4 misses have been here. The 2 in the regular season, the 2 today, his 4 career misses inside.
I think he just needs snow, wind, and rain to make these field goals. But you know what? I wouldn't count him out. If he's going to have to kick a field goal at the end of the game, you know, he can still do it. Believe me, I'll tell you what, one of the great kickers of all time in pressure-packed situations, even though he's missed 2 today.
And how about what do you see here coming up in the second half, guys, looking ahead?
Well, the one thing I've noticed, Tom Brady's been getting pressure. Carolina's been getting around him, but he's been cool in that pocket. No sacks. We thought that they'd get some sacks, get some pressure on him. He's handled it very well. I think they're going to continue to try to run the ball with Antoine Smith a little bit, take some pressure off Tom Brady.
How about it? But isn't it sad that at the end of the first half, now these teams finally start playing, and that's unbelievable. What these teams need to do is just come out, stay within yourself, play your football game. Forget what the other opposing team is doing. If you run the ball well, run the ball. If you throw it well, throw the ball. And put the ball in the hands of your playmakers.
I think it's going to be a defensive second half. Remember, these guys are going to go into the locker room for about 35 minutes, which is not normal. They're going to cool down. They just started to heat it up again. I think the defensive lines have really taken over this football game, except for that last 5 minutes. I still think it's going to go back to defense.
All right, fellas, coming up, the AOL Top Speed Super Bowl 38 halftime show with Janet Jackson, Nelly, P. Diddy, and Kid Rock on hand to entertain us. You're ready to go, aren't you, man?
I wanted Aerosmith.
All right. You're going to stay tuned, I know. Thanks for joining us on the Monster Super Bowl Today Halftime Report. We'll see you after the game for the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
The Monster Super Bowl Today Halftime Report is sponsored by Monster. Today's the day.